This is my environment. As you can see, very simple, some type of bedroom with some dark design. So I want to start my job with the lighting. So before I do this job, I'm going to click on the view management in here and click on the super realism in this place. So this is my camera. I said that I can start my job with the lights, but before I do this work, I can do this job with the materials. So let's get to work. First of all the surfaces related to the Metallica will be completely converted to the metal. For example, these mirrors frame. So I'm going to start my job with the Enscape material editor. So I'm going to click on the Enscape material editor in here and click on the gold node in this place. As you can see, this is the material that we have in here. If you want to sure about that this is the material that we used in this place, you can click on the paint bucket in the SketchUp, sample paint, and pick up this color. So it's right. I'm going to decrease the roughness as I can to the 0 and increase the Metallica as I can again. Maybe some number about 56 can be good and roughness can be 19%. You can control the Specular, some number about 46%, and it really helps you to create some better reflections in your environment. Next texture and material is the light in the ceilings. So when I focus on this place and pick up the sample paint, as you can see, light color will be selected for me in the Enscape material editor. So I can do this job and reduce the roughness to the 0 and increase the Metallica to the near 100. But right now I prefer to use 74% for it and roughness some number about 16%. The specular can be increased to the 69 and some other things related to the this surface will convert to the self-illuminate. So I'm going to click on the sample paint, pick up this space, self light will be selected for me and converted from generic to the self-illuminate, and this is the result that we have in there. For better type of coloring, I can use the some type of warm color like the creamy and Ctrl+C on the RGB code and paste it on the color code in this place, Ctrl+V and press enter. Now we will have some warm lighting after all of these settings. Roughness can be decreased to the 24 and let's get to another materials in there. Another material we have is the concert of the ceiling and roof, and it's really important for us how it can be reflective and roughness. So I can move it in this place. Texture about the roughness added originally with the Enscape material library. So I only can increase the intensity of the normal map or displacement map. When I go near to this roof, I can see the changes very simple and easy. These details can be good, but when I click on the texture and change the texture size or reduce it to the 0.8 and 0.8, I will have some better detailed texture in here. Intensity of the normal map is 154 and image fade is about 80%. Everything is done for me. If you need more reflection, you can remove the texture reflection in here, but I suggest you don't do this job ever. So I'm going to click on the sample paint another time. This polywoods behind this bed is really important for my job. So first of all, I will decrease the number of texture sizing about 0.28, and I will click on the backside, remove the reflection and decrease the roughness as I can to create these type of reflective surfaces in my job. So 29% can be acceptable because we don't have any type of artificial lights and we usually use some brightness. So sun is not really like that. I will decrease it at the end of this video. So intensity of this wood can be increased. As you can see, we have some bump levels and normal maps on this wood like that. When I decrease the intensity, you can see only some type of texture like the copy machine. But when I increase it, you can see some displacements very simple and easy, about 178%. So I think roughness a little bit too low value for this type of wood. I prefer to increase it to the 38%. or maybe something like that, much realistic. Metallica is good, and Specular is some number about 16%. Next texture and material we need to change it is the floor. As you can see, we have chevron wood in here, and it's really important for us. So I decide to change the chevron wood reflection. So I can pick up the wood number 2 chevron and turn off the texture reflection bitmap and decrease the roughness as I can to some type of reflective number, about maybe 8%. And you can see the details very simple. Metallica can be increased 4% and specular is about 46%. Intensity related to this part of the normal map, you can see the shaders and lines. When I increase the intensity, this is the final result that you have in here. But I really don't like this, so I will decrease it to the 66% because I need some smooth surface. Image fade can be decreased to the 91, and now it's much better. You can add some type of dark tint color like the dark gray in here and save it on your job. You can see all of these reflections much smoother than the past. So now time for the carpet displacement. I will click on the carpet number 20 in here and increase the intensity of the normal map about 159, and I will continue all of these jobs until the end of this video. So I think everything is done for me. I press F on my keyboard and use the super realism camera shot I took it before this tutorial. So I will turn on the save frame, visual setting, and decrease the field of width to some type of normal number, about I think maybe something like that can be good. So I will change my field of view or FOV in Enscape about 42 degree or maybe 41. It completely depends on you and what you want from your job. So rendering quality is on the high mode, and now I want to adjust some of these materials in here. So about these MDF and woods about the lacquer, I want to use some type of texture. So I'm going to click on the sample paint in here and pick up this surface in there. Rosy brown is my color, so I need more reflection because it's something like the high glass material. So I can decrease it as I can to some type of number about maybe 44 and increase the Metallica to the 2 and make this color a little bit brighter, so I can move it to something like that, for example. The specular are not really important in the MDF texture, so I can go to another material in here called slate gray. I can reduce the roughness about 41%, and you can see the changes in here. As you can see, when I orbit my camera like that, you can see all the settings in there. When I decrease the roughness to the 0, I can see some type of object reflections on these face. So if you want high glass texture, you can completely turn the roughness off and create some high glass texture. But right now 39 is really good number for it. Metallica is about 1% and specular is about 54%. In this part of my job I have another slate gray, so I can click on the sample paint in there and pick it up. So as you can see, when I click on the slate gray in here and reduce the roughness much more, I can see the window shades and size of it on my surface. So it's not really realistic. Use some high value number about 47%, and it helps you to create these type of renders. About the some other hidden lights, I have some hidden lights behind this mirror, so I will turn it up right now. I'm gonna move a little bit behind this mirror in here, click on the sample paint, pick it up and convert it to the self-illuminate lights. As you can see, now we can see the effects of it a little bit, not too much. It can be show itself at the darker environments. So the color is about something about the warm color. creamy color, and I can pick up the color code, Ctrl C, and paste it on my job in here, Ctrl V, and press enter. I can increase the luminance power about 26,000 candela per meter, and now we have some effects in there, and it's really good. So everything is done for me right now. Roughness is about 0. I can change it to the 16. So I think everything is good. Now I can add another line light on my ceiling, these lights. So I'm going to click on the ceiling light height in here and convert the color to something near to the creamy. Change the type of it to the self-illuminate, and you can see the changes in here. Increase the power of it to the 36,000 candela per meter. And don't worry about the lens flare, we will control it at the end of this video. So I think I can decrease it much more, about 24,000 candela per meter, or maybe something about 11,000 candela can be good. So I can take another copy of this job or use some type of much warmer light, something like that. Click on the advanced, take another copy on the color bitmap texture and press enter. So now we have warm color in here. Everything is done for me, only we have these walls in here, and it's really important because it can affect your GI calculation and interior light power. So I'm going to select the paint bucket another time, click on it, and change the main power of this job, this color. I want to decrease the roughness, and you can see the changes on your surface. Something about 69% is acceptable. Metallica is about 3% because we have some polystyrol color, and Specular is about 57% again. Everything is done for me. Now time for the rendering, but before we do this job, we have lots of work to do to create some realistic render. So till now, if this content is useful for you, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Thanks for your watching. I'm going to maximize the Enscape in here, press F, super realism, and I'm going to minimize it another time. So I have some problem with these vase places in my job. I want to move them in front of my camera, so I can move it on the green axis, something like that. You can see the lifts. All of these details can help you to create some super realistic render, and it's really good. So we have some violin at the backside and some type of sleep lights at the next of it. One bed, one personage, and one sofa. So I'm going to start my job with the asset library. I'm going to click on the asset library, click on the these table in here, change the color of it. The main color is something about the much darker gray in here. I'm going to click on the apply changes. Another material we have is this bed in here. I can change the all the colors. So I'm going to start my job with the first color. I'm going to convert it to the dark gray. This is the result that we have. But something about Gainsborough can be much realistic right now. About the second material, I can convert it to something like the red. You can see the effect, but it's not really set with the environment. So always try to keep some type of color theme for your job. Something about lemon can be good, or I can change it to the dark gray in here. It's much better. So albedo of the material number 3 is related to, I think, this part of my job, like the blanked. So I'm going to change the color of it to the slate gray another time, and my main color body is something about this one. Everything is good. I can use some type of more dark colors in here, like the silver, and click on the apply changes. As you can see, this is the result that we have, and it's really good and useful. Another changing related to, for example, this table in here, I can pick it up, change the color of it, full black for the surface, and another color for the these holders. I'm going to click on the apply changes. Full black helps you to create some type of contrast in your realistic rendering. About this part of my job, I will change some of these settings related to this chair. So I'm going to click on it and change the color of the holder and the main body, something like a little bit brighter, and apply changes. It takes a bit time, and after that you can see the detail. And for the another armchair in here, I'm going to change the main material of the holder to the dark gray another time and press apply changes. Everything is good. I'm going to click on the F, super realism, and this is my camera view. So I'm going to close the Enscape right now in here. Control S my job, Control S another time. So I'm going to add some lights for my job, but I don't know how. I prefer to use some spotlight. So I'm going to click on the Enscape objects spotlight. Sometimes maybe it crash and get out of the Enscape. I hope it not happen right now. So I'm going to click on the load IES profile in there and drive F. IES light for the rendering, and I prefer to use IES number 5 and press open. I can increase the intensity of it to the, for example, 26 and click on the move option and move it in this part of my job, something like that. So I can take some multi copies in some areas like this, take another copy to this part of my job, and last copy in here. So you can use these spotlights in some other places to create some more power of the lighting. For example, someplace out of the camera frame to create some control on your GI calculation. Some type of lighting like this. I prefer to delete this one. Super realism activated for me. I need some another lights in another place. I'm going to click on the flip it around and move it very easy, someplace like that. So I'm going to select it, delete it, move it to this place, for example, and another copy up of my side like that, and another one in here. These extra lights can help you to create better geometry lighting. So super realism activated for me. Control C, general setting, NVIDIA denoiser is on for better and sharp rendering. Click on the start Enscape another time. It will take a little bit time, and after that you can see the Enscape masterpiece right now. So I don't use any type of special HDRI for my outside, and it's only about the sun power and white source of the Enscape default mode. So this is my environment. I'm going to click on the visual setting and start my job with the atmosphere, because lighting at the main of all of these jobs. So I'm going to decrease the sun brightness to the 0, and you can see the effect in there like this. I can look around and see all other type of lighting. So the point is that when I press F and super realism, this frame is completely wrong because I need to see the air and roof of my job. So super realism selected, edit mode, and change the eye height about 1.4, for example, or maybe it's a little bit too high value, 1.3. I think 1.5 is good. Like that, 1.4. And I can go a little bit much far than the target. 9.8 can be help me to do this job. About the Z position, I can change it to the 4.6. Pitch is about 2%, or maybe 1, or maybe 0. If you want a straight camera shot, you can change it to the 0, and yaw is about 90. So I can change the sun coordinate, as you can see, azimuth power. So I need more power at this part of my job. So I can move the azimuth about 100 degree and change the time of the day, altitude, near to the maybe night. I can hold Control Shift and move my sun position. Something like that can be good. Alright. And change the altitude to the 10 and press save. Now my camera refreshed for me, and now I can do more jobs on my 3D rendering. So at the atmosphere, sun brightness is 0, night sky is 0. I need completely 0% shadow, because in the interior lighting we usually have soft shadows. And artificial light brightness related to the spotlights. When I increase the artificial light brightness, you can see the changes in your environment, but right now I prefer to decrease some of them, about 90%. Ambient brightness related to the interior rendering and lighting. It can automatically helps you to create some better lighting for interior with exterior lighting. And when I decrease it, you can see some type of more darkness in your job. For now, I prefer to use some low value number, about 24% or maybe 9%, because the value of it is really exact work with the GI light. Wind is 0 and fog is 0. In the sky, we have some clear sky, and I will convert all of my cloud setting to the 0. White cubes and your horizon source can affect your lighting, so be careful about it. My resolution will be Ultra HD, but right now I don't want to change it. In the image var, I will use auto contrast, so I will minimize it to see this render much better, something like that. Saturation can be increased, not too much. 111 is good. I need some warm rendering, so I can decrease the color temperature to some number about 5000 Kelvin. I will come back to the atmosphere and change the ambient brightness to some type of decayed number, about 26%. Something like that is really good for me. In the image bar and atmosphere, everything is checked. If you want to increase some brightness, this will happen for you. So you can increase it to some type of decayed number, but not too much. 11% can be good. Motion blur is 0. Lens flare related to this part of my job. When I increase the bloom option, you can see what happened in your lights on the roof and ceiling. So it will completely bloom and fade in the light effect. And when I increase the lens flare, this effect will be highly remoted for you. So 6% is good and enough for me. And the lens flare is about 44. Vignette can be increased to some number about 62. And chromatic aberration is 1%. In the main bar, outline is not useful. I will turn off the auto exposure and re-expose my screen manually to create better lighting, about 71%. So depth of field can be increased. Turn off the autofocus and play with the focal point to reach to the better result. I want to focus on this women, bed and violin. So 9 meter is good, and depth of field can be decreased to some type of number, about maybe 16%. I will change my rendering quality to the ultra, and output is about Ultra HD. My file format is the PNG, and all of them is done for me. If you want to add another lights, you can do this job. For example, this sleep light can be turned on. So for the final step, I will click on this spotlight in here, click on the Enscape objects and increase my light intensity. You can see the changes in here, and it's really wonderful. Enscape is one of the best rendering engines because it really helps you to create realistic renders without any hardness. So I really like it. I will click on these light in here, move it to the downside, take another copy. So all of these lights are components. So if you want some unique light, you can right click and convert make unique. Right now you have some separated light with other lights. Now I want to use this light for my sleep light. I will move it to someplace near to my sleep light. It takes a little bit time because coordinates sometimes don't recognize well. I will flip it like that and move it downside like this. So it's inside of my sleep light and you can see the selected line behind it. I will click on the Enscape object and reduce the power out. As you can see, it really helps you in your jobs. Visual setting, atmosphere, some brightness is about 1% or maybe 0. And now we have better effect of our job before this video. Main bar, exposure can be decreased to the 69 because lights can show themselves much better, or maybe 70. But one big mistake in this render related to the bed's color. As you can see, this white color and creamy is really good, but in this place we have some full black clothes in here and fabrica, so I must change it because it will destroy my render. Something like cream can be much better, or I can use some type of custom color like the brown color and apply changes. Right, I think everything is done for us. Now time for the rendering. I'm gonna click on the screenshot in here, or second way for rendering is the batch rendering. I can click on the super realism and click on the render image, and it will ask me where I want to render this job on my desktop and press save. If this tutorial useful for you, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. At the end of this video, you can watch one of our best tutorials about the interior lighting for beginners. So this file download link below this video. Thanks for your watching, thanks for your support, and goodbye.